Welcome back to the Winner's Circle, where we explore how IT and business leaders can leverage technology to get ahead of the competition and win. I'm your host, Pavle Maidla, and today we're tackling one of the most critical and evolving threats facing businesses of all sizes, email security in the age of AI-powered attacks. Email remains the primary attack vector for cyber criminals, and with artificial intelligence making phishing attempts more sophisticated than ever, traditional security measures simply aren't enough anymore. That's why I'm excited to have two experts joining me today who are on the front lines of this battle. First, we have Pablo Duis, a senior sales engineer specialist with over 20 years of cybersecurity experience, and Curtis Goddard, senior, who brings deep expertise in helping managed service providers protect thousands of small and medium-sized businesses with an advanced email and collaboration security measures. And last, but certainly not least, Jason Thatcher, Director of Cybersecurity here at NexusTek. Gentlemen, welcome to the Winner's Circle. Before we dive deep, I'd really like to set the context. When business leaders hear email security, many think they're already covered, just because they have the traditional, Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. What's changed in the threat landscape that makes dedicated email security solutions like Checkpoint absolutely essential?
The landscape has shifted for sure. Threat actors are getting more sophisticated. And I think one of the things that really stand out is their usage of AI tools and their ability to do personalized attacks, hyper-personalized attacks that can fool a lot of core systems that are built in or native to those solutions.
From my perspective, it's speed and scale, right? AI makes these attacks much more believable. 10 years ago was the Nigerian scam emails, which were easily spottable.
Yeah.
That day and age is gone with AI, right? It's highly targeted. It's spear phishing. It's very advanced, and it's very targeted towards individuals. So as these threats become more advanced, it's critical to step up your defenses to make sure they're aligned with that threat as well.
So, gentlemen, between the three of you here, we've got decades and decades of experience in cybersecurity. So, talk to us. Let's dig a little bit deeper into how AI is fundamentally changing the email threat landscape. What are we seeing that we weren't seeing a year or even 2 years ago?
You're seeing it on both sides, right? Both from the defensive posture and the attacking posture from cyber criminals. And we touched a little bit on it, how attacks are getting a little bit more sophisticated. But on the defensive side, solutions like ours, where we've been training AI and machine learning for the last 10 years, we're getting really darn good. We were doing this before AI tools were really available to threat actors, and we've continued to grow with the evolving landscape because we were set up for success to begin with when we launched our company. So I think that's really what makes our story unique, and our efficacy rates between our confident phishing and our suspected phishing rates so much higher than the market, and which obviously y'all were able to test in great detail with the NexusTek evaluation team, and we're able to see those confidence intervals and those rates, and I think that's what's going to set the next iteration of this apart, and why you've seen us grow so much and add so much value to Checkpoint stock over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I will iterate that. Like, a lot of AI is it's emerging, but one thing that AI does that's very well is pattern data recognition and analysis, and I think that's fundamental for basically email, right? Is being able to understand what is the pattern of which users respond and correlates, right? And being able to analyze that mail flow and eliminate the guesswork, right?
Yeah, I would say just to add some comments about the AI, I think it's a journey for all the company. AI will have a different stage to adopt the AI. If you look for the market, all the solutions run over AI. So Checkpoint was built over AI, so we can provide different faster way to adopt AI, since for manual to automatic. So means apply all the security controls using AI and make all the remediation, all the block actions, all the stuff using AI. So there are different stages where the customer can select which one is better for them.
So what I'm hearing is we're using the best way to combat AI and AI phishing attempts is to actually use it in your defense. Have the good AI in the good guys' hands is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. And I'd say another couple key points is how you train the AI matters. And what I mean by that is we have a SmartFish team that has been curating this data for the last 10 years. It's just like any data set. If you have garbage in, garbage is going to come out. And that's why those folks can't catch us, which you guys saw in the NexusTek internal testing.
Yeah, it's you nailed it right. What many people are racing to embrace AI, that you need to look at your data first, right? Like as you articulated, understanding the problem that you're solving is most important. Like, what are you actually solving with AI? And then do you have the data to support that as well? And I think the thesis and the data point is pretty clear with email is basically it's stopping phishing before it gets to users. And the better job you can do with that, it really helps improve your security posture.
When a business actually gets compromised through an email attack, what does that actually look like? Help our listeners understand the real world business impact beyond just, we got hacked.
The scariest part is that they lay in wait. They are monitoring systems. They're running the playbook, delete all email rules, covering their tracks, and they're waiting for that big opportunity, that regular wire that comes in, but at the end of the year they notice that it's larger. You name it. Like that's the scariest part of all this is you don't know they're in their system until you've run a POC with us. We're able to analyze the login data through our anomaly detection to see any patterns of play as far as like phishing, spear phishing, any of that stuff, what's happening or even not happening.
I can back that up. We've seen real world examples. It's basically someone will compromise a vendor inbox and they'll wait 5, 6 messages into a correspondence and then basically swap out the invoice for a major 6-figure deal and send it through. And using Checkpoint, we've caught it, right? We've been able to stop that basically that invoice being paid. And follow up, like we're seeing malicious domains as well. Like it's basically the invoice would point towards a domain that was spun up 2 days ago, and the user is convinced it's absolutely correct, it's real, and only after looking at the analysis, right, that we were able to pinpoint that no, the vendor's inbox has been compromised, right, and they were waiting for that perfect opportunity to basically inject into the email thread that fake invoice.
I would say that nowadays, I think, in the last 4 years, email is the principal cyber attack vector that are being used a long, long time ago, and they still being used. Social engineer is the principal technique used it on all the spear phishing, business email compromise. Using zero-day attacks. In some situations, the solution they don't have zero-day attack protection. What they are still struggling to detect, malicious URL, phishing URL, which is gonna compromise the account. And this stuff that makes Checkpoint a unique solution in the market because we are using AI to learn with the customer behavior and to see which account has some strategic, parents.
I'd like to get a little bit into the nitty gritty of the Checkpoint platform, right? Are you guys able to give us a peek under the hood and show us what makes this solution, different from traditional email security approaches? Can you walk us through the architecture? How does this actually work to protect organizations?
Yep. Let me share my screen. What is the main idea? Talk about the architecture stuff and in general the solution we have in the market. So looking for the old school solution, they essentially have email security gateway. It is a MTA, it is appliance that is hosted on the customer environment or on the email security environment. All right. So they are appliance, they are server. We need to size these environments to deal with all the email traffic for this customer. We need to make some MX record change. Change the MX record point for these servers. And this guy is going to be responsible to filter all the messages to send out for the user inbox. All right, so this is the main idea. What is the pain points for these guys? AMX record, it is a public information, so I can search for this information and see any CVE information to try to explore any vulnerability to try to bypass this email security layer. All right. Another issues a lot of customers complain it is the complexity to manage all this environment. So once they need to pass through to this email gateway, they need to make all the configuration disable. If you are using Microsoft or Google, in some situation, you need to disable all the Microsoft email security layers, right? And for me, what makes a critical issues using this solution, it is no internal email protection. So let's say one account was compromised and this account start to send phishing internally for another user. So this is gonna be a big problem for these customers. They have zero visibility for this kind of threats, zero visibility. If you're gonna move on, looking for this scenery, this environment, so some email security solutions start to create API-based solution. What is the main idea for this solution? They are gonna be integrated with the Microsoft or the Gmail, right? No MX record. The Microsoft in this situation, in this example, we're going to apply all the security layers to check this message. If Microsoft detect a threat, Microsoft is going to block it or deliver for the user inbox. Meanwhile, the API-based solution is going to receive a copy of this message, process this information on the API models. So if you detect any threat, they're gonna make API connection with the user inbox to retrieve, to delete this message from the user from the user inbox. What is the main problem? The delay, the time to make this remediation. All right. Some situation takes seconds, and another situation takes minutes to remove this message from the user inbox. So in this period of time, the end user can open a malicious URL, open a file, and have the account compromised or the computer compromised. So looking for this environment inline, it is essential. And also API is going to be a plus. So that is why Checkpoint here is unique. So we create one specific solution that is an API connection. We are going to make an API connection with Microsoft and Google using the Microsoft security controls. But before sending this message for the user inbox, we are going to intercept this information and send for the Harmony email security. All right. So inline, we are going to make this connection, inspect on your environment, then you are going to send back this message for the user inbox, make a connection with the Microsoft or Google. On the number 5, we are going to make a copy of this message with the main idea to make a deep dive analysis on this message using different AI models. If Checkpoint detect any thread, you're going to make API connection to remove this message. So we are combining inline plus API to make all the remediation using all the thread cloud AI, the machine learning AI to check this information. And beyond to the email security, we are gonna also make API connection with different SaaS applications, looking for compromised accounts, looking for malicious file on that is hosted on the OneDrive, SharePoint, Shadow IT. So it's gonna be like a small CASB, let's say, covering this kind of security layers on the SaaS security. All right. So this is the way we Checkpoint work it. uh, different security layers using the traditional Microsoft Google, but we can also work with the traditional signature for no threads. We are going to use also AI to looking for 0 days, for new threads, looking for social engineers, different parents. Then we're gonna the last security layers we're gonna apply is gonna be the sandbox, looking for URLs and also files. Uh, one thing that I also would like to explore it is what is included on the AI. So this is a nice information to show which kind of AI models do you have on the back end that is running on the back end. So brands, we are gonna looking for lookalike domains, brand impersonation, image recognition. So this is something that is unique for Checkpoint. You're gonna looking for the image on the message and compare this image with the real image logo that I have on the web page, on the official web page for this brand. So let's say Bank of America. I'm gonna use and compare these messages, looking for URLs. Uh, Deep diving different payloads on the URLs, looking for malicious URL, categorization, TLDs, reputation for the IPs as well, domains, looking for regex, and so on. And additional to that, one of it that is for me makes a lot of sense is natural language parents. So this one you're gonna read out the message body and see something that is more correlated to a phishing or not. In some situation, like I said, in some situation the phishing it is does not contain any malicious URL or malicious file. It's 100% a text message requesting some information from the target, from the end user, like social security number or some information that is critical for the organization. So we are going to use this kind of machine learning to learn the method and see something that is weird in this message itself. All right. So these are all the AI models we have in place. Uh, just to sum up all the features we have, so on the checkpoint, we can apply three main policies. That is a learning mode, post-delivery API, and inline. There is no additional cost for that. No NX record chains, no additional SKUs. All the main features, sandbox, CDR to disarm any file, one of the traditional phishing techniques they are using right now, it is HTML with some JavaScript embedded on the HTML. So in some situation, the HTML, if you open on the end user on the computer, it is in this moment that's going to create a malicious file and make a command control to download the malicious file DLL or send out some information externally. So email is crucial in this step to analyze any JavaScript on the files to see or to try to remove any JavaScript on the file to protect this kind of threat. Gmail, DOP encryption, 100% API, take over share IT, 100% over AI powered, so 100% running over AI. So I have, yeah, just to clarify which kind of environment do I have. So in this browser, I have in my corporate email access. Let's say for this one, it's going to be my corporate account. On this website, I have some personal webmail that I'm gonna send out some phishing using Proton, Gmail, Mail, and so on. And on the other website, I have the checkpoint environment. All right. I'm gonna start to send out some messages for my corporate account. I'm gonna use the Proton to send out some messages. I have some specific URLs. So these URLs, the first one, it is confidence speaking. Let me me delete this one. It is a phishing. Find out this message. I have another URL that is a suspect phishing. Means that some situation my checkpoint will not detect as a phishing. We're gonna classify as a suspect because of the score we apply for this message. It is not enough to classify a confidence phishing. Suspect phishing. And I'm going to use another URL that it is a spam. I'm going to use the Yahoo to send this spam, send. And finally, I have another one. We are going to simulate a zero-day attack. All right, all the message was sent to the end user. I'm gonna jump for the end user just to show you guys how it is the user experience. So on the inbox, I just received the suspect phishing. I didn't receive the phishing. And let's take a look on the junk mail. On the junk mail, I received also the spam. So let's start with the spam. In my policy, in my environment, I have a policy set up saying if it is a spam, green mail, hey, let's move this message for the user junk folder. All right. So this is the message. If I take a look on the URL, you're gonna see that the URL was rewriting by checkpoint. Even being classified as spam, if the end user clicking this URL, I'm gonna check using different AI models to see if I have any malicious file or malicious URL or malicious web page. Right? On the inbox, starting with the suspect phishing, smart banner. Smart banner is a feature we're going to enable to alert the end user, to keep this, the end user alerted about something that may be going to bring some risk for the corporation. Same situation. If I click in this URL, I'm going to protect the end user. And also the 0 day. Let's try to open this specific URL, which is tagged using the smart banner with external mail. If I try to open, I'm gonna have this web page blocked. This one was blocked because my policy internally was informing, hey, this is something that should be blocked. It is a malicious web page. For the suspect phishing, let's say, hey, I'm an end user. I'm suspected this one is a phishing. I'm gonna report for the admin. Hey, this is something that for me is a phishing. Once I use the plugin, the Microsoft plugin, I didn't deploy any plugin on the user Outlook. All right, so I'm using the Microsoft. I'm reporting this as a phishing. Once I report it, this message is deleted from the user inbox. So I'm gonna send a copy for this message for the checkpoint, which is gonna scan again this message, looking for different apply AI models, different AI models to see if I detect any threat. The same way, if I take a look on the spam, I can also report as a phishing if I want. Let's say that I want to access the digest. Hey, Paulo, I need to access my digest. I think that I have something that was blocked, but I should be released. So I can request a new digest. for checkpoint. And so as you can see, I have a hyperlink on the bottom on this message, which is going to release a new digest for the end user. So these are all the messages that was quarantine blocked by checkpoint. If I request to release one of the messages, I need to send an explanation why do I want to release. Let's put it testing, submit. So behind of the scenes, AI is gonna now take over on all this process. We are gonna rescan this message, looking for applying different AI models again in this method and see if it's something that is a thread. I'm gonna block. If it is something that is not a thread, I'm gonna release it for the user inbox. And even though the end user is gonna be able to access this information, either here on the user inbox or using the quarantine. Another way to have access on the messages blocked is accessing the quarantine portal. So all the quarantine portal, all the messages they were blocked. Some of the messages they request to restore was declined by the admin by checkpoint, so they can be able to see all the status for the message or block it, and also the message they request to release. And all the integration is going to be reported on the user inbox, like this one. Before to access the quarantine, we report one of the missions that we suspect as a phishing, right? So this was a notification the platform is going to send for the end user. Great job. This is something that yeah, we did detect as a phishing this message. So we are gonna block and make all the changes on the AI engines to not allow again this message for the entire organization. Right? Now let's move for the console. So this is the admin console. On the overview, you're gonna see the status for all the messaging events. You're gonna see information about all the phishings, green mail, suspect phishing, all the tests that we did is gonna appear here on the events. Even for the URLs the user tried to open, you're gonna see also this information here. If I open one of the messages, like this one, let's see the phishing. I'm gonna jump for the forensic information, see on the left part of the message header, right, all the Microsoft classification and checkpoint, the score for this message and why checkpoint classifies as phishing, how frequently these messages are being sent, or this sender or send a message for this user or for this domain, and also specific information for this URL and for this web page, all the sandbox analysis we got for this URL and also for this file as well. Okay. Additional to that, one information that is super interesting for us to see and see how our end user are prepared to report a real fish or identify a new fish. We can also run security awareness simulation. Like I can simulate different phishing for this mailbox using different AI patterns to analyze the user behavior. So like this one, it's one of the sample. If I send out this message for the end user, you're gonna see in real time how this message is gonna be delivered for the end user. So this is one of the simulation we got. Correlate you see on the domain we are using. If I open this URL, this is a phishing simulation. If I open this URL, I'm gonna notify the end user, hey, you shouldn't click in this one. It's gonna make us a way we can track this information on the platform and apply different security awareness training also for the end user. So this is another feature which we can also track on the checkpoint. So yes, this it's a small demo on the checkpoint environment.
Mhm. No, this was fantastic. I really do appreciate it, and great. And what's even more incredible is just the automated remediation capabilities. Not only the fact that it can identify, threats, but it really reduces the burden on IT teams and potential security operations centers. That said, leading into that topic, Jason, we know NexusTek offers this as a fully managed service that's powered by Checkpoint. What does fully managed actually mean for customers? What additional burden are we taking off of their shoulders when working with Checkpoint?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's remediation, containment, investigation. It's basically everything from A through Z for the email flow. Um, One of the burdens for security teams is having to go through and investigate logs, look at what the outcome was, did the user click on it. We're able to alleviate majority of that burden from security teams entirely. So it's basically like mid-sized businesses, even SMB, they have better things to do with their day than focus on chasing down 100 phishing emails, right? So instead of doing that, we literally take that burden off entirely onto us.
That's fantastic to hear. And so, for when it comes to executives that might need to justify these types of security investments, how should organizations think about the ROI of advanced email security? What are the tangible and intangible benefits that factor into this calculation?
Yeah, so the cost of a beam for a business email compromise, it varies, right? The average being right around 60,000, but some of these can get really expensive. And it is one of the main vectors how, you know, threat actors are getting into an organization today. It's usually um, through the email, right? It's basically it's one of the primary kind of front doors that people use to get in. So the cost is exponential though for if it involves like a wire transfer or vendor fraud or third party impersonation. It can get really expensive really quickly. So it's your ROI, I think, is outsized on email gateway, and risk reduction is it should be one of your focuses. It's vulnerability management and email gateways are really up there along with EDR.
So I have a really simple calculation to help people understand or conceptualize the value of email security. It's one of the few solutions that has a direct impact on productivity. And productivity can simply be measured by the amount of employees you have, how many dollars per hour you pay them on average, and then the amount of interruption that they have during the day from spam, phishing, gray mail, or any instance that interrupts them and interrupts their flow. Because for a lot of people out there, their inbox is their work stream. So for a work stream like that, what's the value to you to have that reduced and reduced drastically? And the calculation to me it's pretty simple to it's pretty simple to understand that rate.
Awesome. And Jason, for business leaders and IT professionals listening who recognize their current email security isn't adequate, what are the first three steps they should take this week to assess their risk and begin addressing the gaps?
That's a great question. Basically, it's one, understanding your vulnerability, right? Is your exposure. It's aligning and then mapping that to risk metrics, right? And again, it's calculating the ROI and the business investment and determining if it is the correct solution for your organization. And to me, I can tell you, yes, unequivocally, like having um, advanced email protection through your user base and your org is one of the best security investments you can make. So it's really it all starts with people, process, and tech, right? You want to make sure your people are trained. You want to make sure your policies and procedures are correct, your AUP, etc., and having best in breed tech to do kind of a defense in depth strategy.
Awesome. And for people who are ready to get started, I'm assuming they can find us on NexusTek.com.
Yeah, it's super easy to configure, set up, and deploy. We can get y'all up and running like literally within an hour. That's no joke. That's actually overselling it or underselling it. It's almost an instant deployment and unbeatable with configuration and setup.
That's fantastic. Gentlemen, this has been incredibly valuable. And, for our listeners at home, we really do appreciate you taking the time. Pablo, Curtis, Jason, thanks for joining us here on the Winner's Circle and helping our audience understand why email security deserves their immediate attention and investment.